So perfect stepping stone to the holiday season. The date is November 2nd, so we just passed Halloween, and I just want to, support you guys. And I think a lot of people think that it's impossible to get through the holidays without gaining a ton of weight or going backwards, or they have to completely restrict themselves or turn down every holiday party or not celebrate Halloween and get candy. And we were just talking about that. But that's not the case. And so I'm just going to share some quick tips that have helped me get through the holidays without gaining weight, and even a perspective that I've had about that. Like, I am a rebel. I've always been a rebel. Like, I've always been a loner, kind of independent, or, I definitely have been one to question. Like, I question everything. And I don't even watch the news now, you guys, because I just honestly am like, I don't need that energy to come in. Like, if I'm gonna, I stay up to date in certain ways, but I'm not like opening my life to the news because it doesn't really pertain to exactly in front of me and what I need to do in this world, I feel like. So I like to be a rebel. And so part of me being a rebel is getting in better shape over the holidays. So this is something that I love to do. Like, I love to do that. Same with, I would say summer is a harder time. And I think Tiffany talked about that before too, is just, like, it's warm, you're going to all these things and it's just a little harder, and you're with your family more. But the holidays, it is pretty easy to stay on track. So let me share my PowerPoint and we'll give you guys a little visual. Can you see my screen okay? Okay. Is that a yay? All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you're going to rock your New Year's Eve outfits and still have cookies and wine over the holidays. So, does that sound good to anybody? You can put it in the chat or just say yes. Who likes cookies? Who likes to have wine or cocktails, or and get together with family over the holidays? I mean, that's a whole other that's a whole other issue we're not going to talk about, like, psychologically. But I mean, I enjoy cookies. I like to make cookies with the kids. It's one of our traditions, and I hate to get rid of that. We've also made pizza. We try to kind of do things, and food revolves around that. Like, we've already started talking about for Thanksgiving, my son Carter is kind of back in the fold, you guys know, and he's with us every weekend now, and he's gonna be with us for Thanksgiving for the first time in a long time, and it's just so exciting to me. So, I'm asking, like, what do you guys like? Like, do you want to have ham, turkey? And so there's a lot with food around the holidays. And one of my favorite things is finding alternative dishes, so you can have your protein, you can have your veggies, but you can also have your cookies and your treats. Hold on, I'm going to move us up here so I can, there we go. Is anyone, first of all, concerned about the holidays a little bit, staying on track, or anything along those lines? Pop it in the chat or just let me know. Okay. Sounds like we're all pretty good. All right, so there's the 5 P's to holiday success. So we're gonna rock that New Year's Eve outfit with confidence. So I guess I'd love for you guys to start thinking about what you're gonna wear, if you're going to a New Year's Eve party, or just, getting prepared for something along those lines, because it makes it just that much more fun and exciting. If you notice, my makeup is done today. I did my hair like crazy Barbie. If anyone's seen Barbie, like, I'm more like the one that cut her hair, but and that was intentional because I'm trying to take better care of myself, so that I'm basically telling myself, like, I'm important. I'm worth the time to learn how to put on my makeup and to, get dressed and try different hairstyles, even though, they don't always turn out. But I think it's the same, for the holidays. It's like, if we're always throwing on a sweatshirt or, whatnot, wouldn't it be fun to kind of think about something to dress up in, or just kind of make ourselves feel a little bit more special? And it's going to be individual for each and every one of us. Mary says she loves making breads, cranberry, banana. Ah, yes, more so than cookies. So yeah, like breads. I mean, we have lefse. I like the lefse. Like we do that with like butter and sugar. Like we like to have that kroomkake. Like we're typical Norwegian family, so we have all those little foods. Not lutefisk as much. Anybody eat lutefisk? Nah. It's disgusting.
Oh no, is that that fish that like nobody can even like open it without just like gagging and retching?
Yeah, it's like fish, Tiffany, that they put in lye. It's a Norwegian, like old school. My dad would love it. Like it would make our whole house smell like, ugh. And then it's like has zero flavor. I'm really selling this. And it's like if it's like having like a jellyfish in your mouth or something. It's really bad.
Oh my
Yeah. My
gosh.
dad also loved liverwurst and mustard sandwiches, and I've tried, I was like, Dad, I'll have some. And I'm like, oh, oh my God, bad. But anyway, so the first thing you want to do is think about preparing. So, just like Rita did with Halloween, she prepared herself. She planned to eat, right? And I think that's super important with intention. And, I was going to ask you guys as a side thing too, like when I find myself getting really into a strict eating regimen, and I hope Michaela and Tiffany are okay with me sharing this, but I find that I do really, really well. Like I'm very predictable. I can do it for, probably like 5 to 7 days, but then I just kind of don't want to track it. And I don't know if it's because I don't want to eat within those macros or it's like the same foods. And so I will kind of just take a pause for a day. And it really helps me mentally to come back. And like Tiffany had said, it's not the one day and it's not like I go crazy. I probably eat within the limits. I probably undereat actually on protein, but I just give myself a day to not have to worry about that so I can fit in some other food. So it's like a preparation for mental, like long-term planning for myself. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I know that's not the mainstream thing we're probably hearing, but I think for me, I just know myself. So if for you, if you do that and then you go, off the rails and then you're not coming back on and you're paralyzed for, a few days, that might be a deeper issue. We need to talk about that. For me, it's therapeutic though, I know, to just kind of take a day or take a meal and just say, yeah, I'm not going to hit the protein today. I'm just gonna, I'm probably going to hit the fat. The fat and the carb, like, hello. So anyway, but it keeps me happy and on track. So I'm planning to do that. I'm preparing to do that. Portions are another fun way. I feel like if you're able to do this, have your portion, like you can decrease portions. So that was another thing. Like when you go get a piece of cheesecake or apple pie or pecan pie, or you have cookies. So I had my days where I would go to my mother-in-law's house, and I remember it very well. And I knew she had the best cookies and kroomkaka and banana bread and all that delicious stuff. And I literally would just stuff myself, like not just 3 cookies, like it was like 20 cookies. I don't even know, like, and a pop. Like, I don't even drink pop, but I would have pop because she had pop. And oh my gosh, I feel sick and terrible. And like, I did that on a cruise one time too. We have ordered every single dessert, and then you could get room service. So, like, we ordered chocolate chip cookies. So, I mean, I'm sounding like a true food binger, and I do have that in my blood for sure. And I remember the next day waking up with like a food hangover. I felt so bad. So, what I've learned over the years, this is where we're going with this, is portions. And so, like I watched this lady once do a 3 bite method, and it's been really therapeutic for me. So either my husband and I'll go out and we'll go to like one of our favorite dessert places, and we will share a piece of cheesecake, or we will, or I will have the French silk pie, but I don't need to have the biggest piece because the satisfaction does fall off pretty quickly. Or I will have some stuffing, but I don't need to fill my plate, over like so much. It's a different mindset to have a smaller portion of something you really like. So that way you can kind of have everything. And like, I think Tiffany addressed that perfectly. She said, I do the 100-calorie Doritos and I let myself. And I'm like, perfect. Um, and then protein is another really easy way. So that's going to help you, if you hit your protein during the day and keep to your regular, meal plan before you have company over, you're going to have a lot more, stamina, and you're not going to overeat as much. It's not going to be due to cravings. It's a much different situation when your body is getting the micro and macronutrients that it needs. And then pure foods. I was like, you know what? Pure foods. What do I mean by that? Obviously, as much non-processed. So if you can look around and say, okay, there's a veggie tray, I can have some of that. Or look for the foods like the ham or the turkey. Fill your plate up with more of those type of foods versus the other. Then you're going to have a lot of freedom to be able to eat, without having to worry about it. And then the 80-20 rule. So having 20% of what you're, eating, it helps you prepare. So make protein the priority, stay hydrated. So that's another big part of this, something really easy that we can do every single day. And it's something I still to this day work at, is keeping myself hydrated. I have my calculated, I think this is 36 ounces. Cheers, Allison. My girl, I like it. Oh my gosh. So I keep this by me. Cheers, Tiffany. I mean, it's so good because I know if I get 3 of these in, great. And so I just have something to hit every day. My biggest downfall is losing my water bottles around my house. I'm like, where the hell is that? Is in my car. Like, I bring it with me everywhere. So being hydrated is going to also help your body to make more chemical reactions, increase your metabolism, deal with all the things you're throwing at it. It's going to help, if you have cocktails or whatever, that's definitely going to be helpful. So when you are getting some kind of cocktails, I want you guys to be educated on, what are some really good choices, are there better choices? And for sure, having a gin, a vodka, or tequila is a much better idea, but don't, instead of having a ton of sugary kind of mix, like a pina colada, like, whoa, that we got fat, we got carbs, or a margarita, like you can get skinny margaritas. So that's also, part of it. Hey, Tiffany or Michaela, it looks like Jamie Johnson is looking for the link. She just messaged, it came on my screen. If one of you wants to just put it in Coach Catalyst, our link for today, or tell her it's in there. Thanks. So having a diet soda mix, or just like my husband will have, like I've gotten diet tonic with raspberry vodka and some lime. That is so good. And it doesn't, it's not going to hit you as hard. And then complement your cocktail with fats or cheeses, guacamole, nuts, hard salami. So it's all about, not having your blood sugar go sky high. So it is good to put a fat in when you are drinking alcohol. So that does make sense, to have some green olives, have some, yummy cheeses, which are normally there, or guac. Anybody have a favorite cocktail that they like to have, or are you pretty good at this?
I'm really lucky that I have a restaurant nearby. Because tequila, if I'm going to do alcohol, tequila and vodka are probably my jam. And it's so I have a restaurant nearby that does the absolute best skinny margaritas that I've ever had in my life. And they
Mm.
use just all fresh fruit juice, and there's no sugary triple sec or anything like that in it. It's just like the tequila and then the fruit juices and stuff. Amazing. But it's usually for me, I'll either use the Mio drops that you like, or Crystal Light or something like that, and then just add a shot of whatever I'm drinking to it. Um, that way you're, not getting all that extra sugar and everything from the mixers. But I'm also a huge fan, and I'm going to grab one right now. But I'm a huge fan of these Jordan. the Jordan skinny mixes. Um, they have a spiced cranberry that it's only there's no calories in it at all. But they have a mojito one, they have a skinny margarita one. So they're the cocktail mixers, but there's no added sugar or anything like that to them.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, those are great.
So funny, Tiffany, because I always thought you didn't drink at all. So,
Is super rare, super, super rare that I do. And when I do, I've never been drunk a day in my life. It's crazy. Everybody's
yeah.
like, not even as a teenager. And I'm like, no, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I agree. And like when you add sugar to the mix, I mean, as we're getting older, like I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I could have screwdrivers and, like wake up the next morning, woo, like let's go. Now it's like, okay, it's Thursday. I drink on Saturday some wine and I am depressed. I'm low energy. I can't recover. So that's science, but there's science reasons why. But yeah, it's become less and less desirable, just on that alone. And then that now that I track sleep, I hate looking at my sleep when I've even had one or two, because my sleep is so bad and then my heart rate variability is tanked. Like it'll be a 12. I mean, it's so bad. And so I'm always like wanting my heart rate variability better. So yeah, I mean, the desire to drink is just really becoming less and less in my life. I've started going like month journeys just where I'm not, and right now I'm kind of in that. So it's just kind of nice. It feels free. It's a prep, it's a plan, it's a
Mm-hmm.
decision. Yeah. Okay, don't stress. So I don't want you guys to stress. The whole idea is that we're planning accordingly. We're not feeling stressed. So snacking easy. So eating between meals can easily pack on pounds. Before you grab a quick bite, try drinking no calorie water first. So hunger is a lot of times mistaken for being dehydrated. And so, sometimes I've made little rules around to try to get my veggies up and think about that whole thing. So like it's kind of like water first, then veggies, and then protein before I have the snack like the chips I was going to grab for or something like that. And so just thinking about that, like we just always have the baby carrots and we have cucumbers almost all the time and celery sticks in the fridge. So it takes a second. I know it's a little like, what? She chops all those up. Like, no, I mean, it's not that hard. It literally takes a minute. I've got like 7 cutting boards and really good knives, so that's a must. But it does not take time. It's just a matter of being intentional and planning. And balance meals with fruit and vegetables. So I've been so on this fruit kick. Clementines are my favorite, strawberries, raspberries, and you can save a lot of money by getting frozen raspberries and frozen blueberries. And they're actually a little bit fresher because they take them right off, the picking, and then they put them in the freezer. You can keep a basket of fruit on the counter. So we have like this bowl from Costa Rica that's made out of hardwood and it's really pretty. And we put, our tomatoes in there, we put our bananas in there, we put plums, when we have them. And then we have a drawer just for clementines, and apples and red peppers and all of that. So, think about that. And that's going to actually help your body be less acidic. And battles hunger has a lot of fiber. So there's a lot of good, reasons to do that. And then track what you eat. So this is another way to keep a tab, use your food journal, macros first. You know, it depends. If you plan not to track, don't track. But if you want to know, like what did I actually do? Was it even that bad? Like sometimes I do that and I'll take a look. But knowing that you're doing, when I do it, I tend to be much more on track, even though I would consider myself pretty disciplined. I need the extra accountability for myself and just to see it. And then cookies and sweets are really just carbs. They're carbs and fat. So that's why they're kind of lethal in a way, because they're a small serving of something that's going to be really high in calories and it doesn't do a lot to satiate you. So those are the downsides, but the other side of it is just your body does what it does when it eats, other carbs and fats. So it knows what to do with it. It's just, it's a denser, higher calorie food, and then it does some things to your blood sugar. So that's why if you hit your protein and whatever, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So portions, eat before you go. Keep your portions small on the sweets, side dishes, pies, cocktails, and more. Try that 3-bite method I was talking about. So basically you become, so I don't know how many of you walk around eating. Like I'm famous for this, and I eat off, when my kids were little, would eat off their plates, and I do that a lot, and no food gets tracked that I eat when I stand in the pantry or when I'm cooking. So I'm probably the worst example. I don't do this anymore, but this is where I came from, right? So these are all things I know about myself. So the 3-bite method is just about being present with your food. So if you're gonna have something amazing, you should sit with it and taste it and enjoy it and be with it. Otherwise, like, what's the point really? It's a 4-second deal, and it kind of makes you feel bad. And like, it's really important, I think, to take that first bite and feel it in your mouth and taste it and smell it and be with it and give yourself 3 bites. And if you want to have more, absolutely have more. I'm not saying you can't, but it's interesting. Just test yourself, like have an entire cheesecake piece or whatever. I like cheesecake. I'm like, whoa. And then have 3 bites of cheesecake and just kind of see, was that as fulfilling? Like, is it the full feeling? Is it the taste feeling? Like, what is it about it that you really like? And I think a lot of us just kind of go through the motions, and, I didn't used to think about it so much, and be present with my food. Jonette likes cheesecake too. I knew I just feel you, Jonette. I feel like that's why we're friends. She's gonna be at in-laws, have to go protein shopping. Absolutely. Yeah. So going, and if you are going to your family's house, like, or vacation, like, that's one of the first things we try to do is just, well, for one, I'll grab a smart water. So I have my water right away because I've gotten really dehydrated traveling. And then we will stop and get some things, or I put it in my bag. So for sure. So here are sources of proteins that I find are, if you're just like, I don't know, look around the room and get dizzy. I think Greta, I saw a message. She said I had, what it was it? I think she had potato salad in something else. And she's like, there was nothing else there. And I was like, I feel you. Good job, Greta. Like, but when you go and you see meatballs, that's always a good one. So my mother-in-law would always have like a crock pot of meatballs. There was usually some kind of hummus, out with veggies or chips or something. Shrimp cocktail. You'll find some smoked salmon. Sunday to Saturday. Oh boy, you got this. I'll help you. We'll get there, Jonette. Deviled eggs and hard aged cheeses, and even salamis, even though, it's full of nitrates and some other things, those are still a good source of protein, a little higher in fat. And so you can usually maneuver yourself and get enough. And then, I mean, on here, we should also have obviously ham, turkey, like some people do like a big like steak, or like there's roasts that they do. So those are all really good sources of protein that you can get in, that are going to help you feel full and not take you out. So the pure foods I'm talking about are like veggies, fruits, meats, cheese, nuts. The things to steer away from are probably like chips, popcorns, some roasted nuts. That's kind of, I'm gonna take that out. Just scratch that one. And taste like the crackers, and those are things to probably steer away from, and obviously smaller with the sweets. So I also bring my own food, like I'll bring a dish. Like usually we potluck. So that's nice because then I know no matter what happens, first I'll eat before, but I can eat during, and I could eat my own food, whatever I brought. So like, here it is. I ate all of it. Thanks. But I just selfishly do that because I have a little bit of control over it then. And here's some ideas like, we've had chili for our main dish, like a turkey chili even. We've like ground turkey and beans and all that and tomatoes. We've done roast, turkey, ham. You could bring a really good crab dip and like there's so many options. Like I've gotten the ranch dip, the dry and then put that in Greek yogurt and brought that for olive like dip to put on the chili or to also have my veggies and like bacon wrapped Brussels sprouts, garlic mashed turnips, meat, cheese, and veggie tray, hummus and veggies, and then you can make lemon bars, fudge, ginger snap cookies. So I actually have like a PDF that you guys can all get. So I'll give that to you of holiday ideas. And I just briefly want to go over, does anyone have any questions at this point before we dive into the effects of alcohol on the body and fat loss, especially in perimenopause and menopause? Okay. Okay. So alcohol, these are just, I want you guys to be educated and so that you have the information. I think when we're empowered, it just helps us make better choices. And so a lot of times we just are going off advertisements or the way culturally our family did things or something that we have a good feeling with or whatever it is. Like maybe, I definitely like alcohol. I enjoy, I was like the wine, and all of that. But like I said, the more educated I am on it and kind of how it affects my body, the less enticing it is. And I think obviously culturally and just my whole life that's been a thing where alcohol was kind of up here and then in shows you'll see these classy ladies that I look up to and they always have a glass of wine and I'm like, oh, they're having fun, like I want that lifestyle. So there is a perception around it too, or like craft cocktails, like they're so cute, I mean, but are they? So alcohol affects fat loss when you're not within your macros, and just period. Like, when you go over your allotted macros for the day with alcohol, alcohol when consumed will be the first fuel to burn in the body. So it stops your fat burn for a while because your body has to deal with the alcohol. And so it's like a toxin and a poison to your body. So it will stop fat burning because everything was in homeostasis and moving along and your body's like, oh, I'm going to burn that fat. And then alcohol comes in and it's like, whoa, and then it's like, stop everything else, this is not good. And then it starts dealing with the alcohol and it takes a number of hours to get your body back to homeostasis and then get back into the fat burning. So you always want your body in fat burning, right? If we're in a cut. So that's why alcohol is kind of the enemy of that. And protein accelerates fat burn and supplies nutrients to muscle for growth and maintenance, helping to burn fat. So that's why we're always talking about protein. It's a very sophisticated way our body has to strip a protein and use it. So it takes a lot. It's takes a lot to do that. Alcohol, not so much, but it's not going to burn fat. So it doesn't facilitate good things in your body. And it has twice as many energy calories as carbs or proteins and low nutrient value. So it doesn't have any nutrients, and alcohol has 7 calories per gram versus carbs and protein have 4. So again, it's just like a fat, it's really dense and you can have a small amount of it that adds up really quickly. So I remember like, oh, I'm gonna have 5 ounces of wine, like what's recommended. Oh my God, who drinks 5 ounces of wine? Like that's no. And it also lowers testosterone, which a lot of us are battling with as women and just in menopause, perimenopause. Our testosterone's gone down, and then we have some alcohol, and it does a lot of damage. So once it's consumed, it's ethanol broken down to acetyl CoA. So these are just exactly what happens. So over time, it leads to increased fat storage. So it's just something to know, that it definitely impacts your body composition. So it affects our sleep, lowers inhibition, increases appetite. It's a toxin and it prevents our bodies from burning fat. Lipid oxidation decreases 70% for hours with as little as 190-calorie alcoholic beverage. So when I talk to women who say, I have my wine every night, is that okay? I'm like, "Mm." I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but can we get that down to one night a week or two? Because, yeah, if you're doing this, it's going to be really hard. No nutrients, inhibitions decrease. So then, how many times have you, gotten into the kitchen and you're eating stuff you never like? Taco Bell looks good. I've done that. And it also affects your athletic performance for days. So, how to best enjoy your alcohol is, eat in a macro deficit with fats and carbs, hit your protein macros the day that you're drinking, hydrate like crazy while drinking alcohol. So like I almost have a rule like one glass of wine, equal amounts of water, like double amount while I'm drinking. Drink on refeed days. So a lot of us are getting to that point in the program where we're getting refeed days. So that's a good idea to make that day the day that you put some alcohol in, and make alcohol calories as a fat or as a carb. And in macros first, there is actually a calculation to do it. So I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this is how you would calculate it as a fat or a carb to actually stay within your macros. Boy, this was a lot of information, and we're right up to the end. So I just want to end it and make sure that I'm answering any questions that anyone has or final thoughts before we go.
I thought this was great. I love this one.
Okay, Mary. Well, good. Gotta blow you away a little bit sometimes, right?
I do need to reach out with you.
I know. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Um, but I thought this was wonderful. And I don't really drink, but if I do, I'll just do fizzy water and maybe some vodka or bourbon. Otherwise, I like my fizzy water and I like just plain ice water. I drink so much water. So
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, I have a
my
girlfriend
other,
who matches. Oh, go ahead, Mary. Yes.
no, okay, that's okay. Well, I always make sure I have a package of my tuna creations. I told you I'm kind of hooked on that lemon pepper, and I've tried the salmon one, the lemon dill. Don't like it as much, but I leave them laying around. So if I get a hunger, I'll just eat that.
I love
But
that. We've
I'm
started doing the
you
cans.
guys.
Yeah.
You what?
Well, we
Say it
started
again.
buying the cans again. And so 2 days this week, I've made 2 cans of tuna and then doing the avocado oil, like mayo, and then a little bit of Greek yogurt and lemon, and then I put onions in it. So that's another thing. Onions have so much, like your body has to break it down and work with that. It helps deal with acidity, like which isn't good. So then we've done that and then put it on bread with an apple. And that's been such a good lunch. And it's so full of protein. I enjoy it. I toast the bread so it's kind of warm. And that's something I found a lot of joy in. And it's super inexpensive too.
Right.
So yay, tuna. Yeah, don't forget about tuna.
I really, I Andrea knows that. My other thing I was going to say is I did look up angelic bread or something like that. It's called Angelic Bakery. I can't remember the name of it, but they used to carry it at Costco. They no longer do, and that does not have any seeds that you were talking about, sesame seeds. I just
Oh,
cannot. I can't remember the name of it, but I used to buy it all the time.
awesome. Awesome, Mary. Yeah,
My
so
Ezekiel,
Michaela, there's another one, angelic bread.
and the Ezekiel bread I use does not have any the sesame seeds. But I buy that and then I freeze it in like quart-sized bags, so many slices per, and I freeze it and just grab a bag. But I have to store that either in the fridge or the freezer, or it will rot.
Yep. And so that's a good point about the Ezekiel. So I took a food class years ago and she talked about like living foods and how there's energy in every food. And if you have a cracker or bread that can sit on the shelf for days on end, it's not really energized or living. So that's where the Ezekiel bread is. It's a sprouted grain, so they actually like sprout the grain, so there's a lot of energy and life behind that. And so that also follows through into your digestive tract. Your body has to break that down. So that is another, that's actually a good thing, like if you think about donuts or, like there's these foods that you're like, the marshmallows are always okay. Like I think they're 2 years old, I might eat one. Or graham crackers, like there is probably not much living in that. So that's a good point, Mary, that you have to freeze it or it will be rotten very quick.
Right. But like I said, I also put it in quart bags, so many slices, which is nice because I don't have room for a whole loaf of Ezekiel bread.
Right. I take mine out and then bang it on the counter. Does anyone else do that to get a
No.
slice off? Guess you'd come over sometime. I'll show you my get quick fat loss.
Great. Brought a little connection.
If anyone wants a home visit, I can do it. So I love you guys. I don't want to keep you. We're 1 minute over. If you need anything, reach out to Michaela, Tiffany, myself. We're all super into you guys. We constantly talk about you in a good way. How can we make this better? How can we serve you? So just let us know. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
You guys too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Bye.